Hi guys, I'm with Bruce Soord from the Pineapple Thief to talk about Nothing But the Truth, which will be released in October the 22nd. So thank you, Bruce, for having us.
Oh, thank you for having me. Thank you.
So in April, you filmed a live performance. So how and why and when did you decide to do this?
Well, we released versions of The Truth. That came out on September the 4th last year. And of course, we were in the middle of the dreaded pandemic. And so what you normally do when you release an album is you go on tour. Well, so we certainly do. Of course, we couldn't tour. So we all sitting around going, well, this doesn't feel right. And we didn't want to postpone the release of the record like a lot of other artists were doing. We thought in the middle of lockdown, most people were in lockdown in Europe. We said, people need new music. Let's give them the new music. And but we thought, what are we going to do? And so we just hatched a plan to do an on-demand live show. And because it involved learning a whole new set, it was quite, well, I'd say it was quite an anxious time. It was quite a lot of work. And so it was all came down to that one day, like you said, in April, where we all got together and the film crew turned up. We only had one shot at making it right, and we put all of our trust in George Laycock, who was the producer and director, and just prayed that it would look good, when it came out. And luckily, everything went to plan. So that was it. It was really just because we couldn't tour, and that was the way to get it out to our people who wanted to see us.
Okay. And when you take the decision to do this, how did you imagine the set? You said you wanted something special for the fan. So who brought the ideas? How it was built?
Yeah, so we all got together and we said, right, what are we going to do? We don't want to just stand on an empty stage because we don't want to be reminding people that people can't go to venues anymore. I mean, that was what it was like back then. Be too depressing, just us playing a normal gig but with no one in the room. So we spoke to our long-term producer and director who did all the music videos for the last couple of records and for my solo album. And because he's so good at making things look good and his vision he's just got an eye for it, we just said, you come up with a concept and we'll trust you to make it happen. And so he came up with this idea of this circular track in the middle, and then there was about 7 or 8 cameras, and there was this circular one around me, and we looked at it and we thought, that looks interesting, but we couldn't envisage what it would look like. We were thinking, what is the camera's going to be spinning around? Are people going to get like sick and like, I feel like? But we trusted him, and when we saw the edit, we saw how beautiful it looked. We were really pleased, but it was we all met up last week, and we were all saying at the time it was a really anxious time because we couldn't mess it up. If it had gone wrong, that would have been it. We would have lost, and it cost a lot of money to do. So we couldn't mess it up. It had to be right that first shot. So even at the time, it was a really stressful day, but you can look back on it now and smile because it all went to plan. So that was it really.
And it was recorded in live condition.
Yes, exactly. So we didn't want to do a live stream where it was literally like a live sound engineer and it going straight out onto the net, because we wanted to mix it and we wanted to give George the time to edit it and make it look nice and all that kind of stuff. So yes, but it was all done in live conditions. Gavin, I remember saying that he actually transported his entire studio, basically all his mics, and so we spent a whole day getting set up, getting everything plugged in and sounding right. And then the next day, all the film crew turned up, and it was the coldest day of the year, absolutely freezing. So
really,
but you had to really, really sort of G yourself up because there's no one in the room, just cameramen. So you've really got to go for it. And so we just, in the dressing room, we all just knew that we had to imagine there were thousands of people out there. It wasn't just a black, empty room or staring at a wall. There was actually people, what, because we knew that people would be watching it, so that's what was in our head, and that's how we could really get into it.
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask, is that easy to play for an audience but without the audience?
Audience, yeah. Before we did the Nothing But the Truth, I'd done some lockdown acoustic shows, and they were live, and I just thought I'd just do it for a laugh, and maybe, you know, lots of people tuned in because, well, I guess that's what people wanted, because they were stuck at home. And I remember the first time I did it, I was playing and I was staring at a blank wall, and I was looking at the laptop, and I could see all these people commenting, and so I knew people were watching me. And after a while, I just lost myself. I realized that actually I wasn't on my own in the room, and psychologically I was looking at that wall and I could see all these people. Yeah. And I think you can just condition yourself to get used to it. It's quite a new thing, obviously. I mean, I know bands were streaming before the pandemic came, but I think the pandemic forced a lot of bands to take that jump and become, you know, and learn about how to do streaming shows. And the other benefit, of course, is that people who can't come to shows, they get to experience it. So it's definitely one of the benefits of the, if you could say there was a positive from the last couple of years, that was it, I think.
Yeah, it's true that we all miss a concert, and if it's not like real concert, it's better than nothing for the public, for us. Okay, and there is on the Blu-ray Dolby Atmos immersive mix. So for people like me who don't know what it is, can you explain us what it is, and what does this bring compared to other technologies?
Well, yeah. So you got traditionally you've got stereo, and then up from that, and you get 5.1 surround. The thing about 5.1 surround is that you really do need to have a dedicated room and, you know, a dedicated system. So it's quite a niche thing for the real enthusiasts. So you've got to have speakers behind you, and but the thing about Atmos is it's a similar kind of thing. And so I upgraded my studio, so you get speakers that spin around, so you can turn, rather than just moving things between the left and the right field, you can go behind you. But with Atmos, you can also go above. So I've got 4 speakers in the ceiling of my studio. So if you went to a cinema, which might have hundreds of speakers all around the place, it would spin around and go all over the place, and you the term is immersive, is what people say in the enthusiasts. That's the word they use. But the beauty of Atmos is that it also works right down whether you've got a sound bar that has Atmos sticker on it, and you still get that sense of depth. And it's not as good as like sitting in a theatre, but it still works. And it also works through just standard headphones. I mean, again, it's a different experience than sitting in a theatre. But the big thing is that streaming companies like Apple Music and Tidal and Amazon HD, they all support Dolby Atmos. So it's very new. It's very new. But the reason, to be honest, the reason I did it was because I saw Steven Wilson had upgraded his studio to Dolby Atmos, and he did his last album came out in Atmos, and I thought, right, that's it. I'm going to get a Dolby Atmos setup as well. I'm not going to let Steven Wilson shoot ahead.
Okay, you were a little bit jealous.
I was, yeah. He did an Instagram post where he showed his new studio, and I looked at it and I thought, I was very jealous.
Okay, and so it was an on-demand show.
It was.
But you play a lot of new songs. Is that like a rehearsal for the upcoming tour, or it will be a different?
Yeah, it's funny you should say that, because we just came back from pre-production for the tour. We were all meeting again on Saturday in a couple of days. And we all realised how we had to bite the bullet and learn all the new songs for the stream, and that's always a really hard thing, is to take the studio recordings and figure out how you're going to play it live, and it's a really steep learning curve, and it's quite stressful. But this time we knew we'd done all that work by doing the stream, so yeah, it's made it a lot easier to get ready for the tour that's coming up.
And so fortunately, the concerts start again. And so you will come in France, in Lyon and Paris. In Paris, just the day after the release of Nothing But the Truth.
Yeah.
So, but what can you tell us about these upcoming shows?
Well, I mean, the set I think is going to be quite similar to what was on Nothing But the Truth, but we brought in some other songs, and we got the difference is I think because we were a lot more, I wouldn't say more prepared, but we've got a lot more material, especially because we've been with Gavin. I mean, with Gavin Harrison joining in 2016, so we've done 3 albums and this one. Plus, Gavin's gone back through the back catalogue. And we've got some old songs that he's reworked with his rhythms and his arrangements. So we've got the set's quite big now, so we're able to juggle it around and change things from show to show. But yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to coming back to play France, because the crowds are just so energetic, really are. So yeah, I can't wait. It's been too long, that's for sure.
I think that it will be maybe more energetic or exciting because we all want so much concerts. So
yes, I know. I hope so. And there's a few people who are still a little bit, reluctant, maybe, of thinking, oh, is it? Because we are probably one of the early bands to start touring again. But most people I speak to, they're like, oh yes, at last we can go to a gig. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. And during the pandemic, did you watch some other bands live stream, and did you see some who inspired you or no?
Yeah, that was the thing about the live streaming. They went from everything to just putting your phone on a desk and strumming your guitar into a phone. So I saw Devin Townsend did quite a lot that did really well, and so I saw the whole gamut of from iPhone probably right to the other end, where bands like Tesseract, they did their that really sort of polished sort of futuristic show that they did. So it was quite interesting to get an idea, and and then you go to a completely different end of the spectrum. There's a guy called Rufus Wainwright who we like, and he was doing, just playing his piano, and so yeah, it was just so many people doing it. It was quite. I felt like part of a. It almost felt like all the musicians in the world were all came together in this, and we were all in the same spot.
Okay. So thank you very much.
Oh, thank you.
We will see you on tour in the few days, next month. So we will waiting for Nothing But the Truth at the end of October.
Yeah, well, we'll be selling it on tour before the release. Yeah. So anyone who's coming to a gig, yeah, you can get it then.
Yes. Okay. So thank you, Bruce.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.